Welcome, flip clock fans. We've got a Kmart flip clock in Flip Clock Fan Studios. I've never had a Kmart flip clock. Kmart thrived in the 1970s and was once one of the world's largest discount stores. The company was known for its blue light specials and the phrase, "Attention Kmart shoppers." The last full-size Kmart in the continental United States, located in Bridgehampton, New York, closed in October 2024. Kmart still has stores in the U.S. Virgin Islands and Guam, and is still thriving in Australia and New Zealand with over 300 locations. It says the model KMC-320. So I haven't looked at this at all. We're going to give it a quick look over and see how quick I might be able to get this working. As you can see, the whirligig is not working. It just tells you if the clock's working or not. We know the motor's not working. The clock flips well, alarm flips well. Tells you to make sure you turn the knobs in the right direction, and somebody put a T for time or an A for alarm. Probably, well, that was easy. Probably some kid got this clock. All right, so let's see how quick we can fix it or not. All right. Piece of plastic was jangling around in there. So that is an Artin motor. I've seen that in other clocks. So see, the motor's working fine. Just not when it's out like that. So it's missing a gear, or the gear has dropped off the post inside of here. So we're gonna have to get into that gear case. Somebody's oiled it a little. So you see how these work. There's that's a coil underneath there with all this squirrel cage, and it's just a post. That's how a Copel motor works. Oh, there's a little washer. I better keep that. So I'm feeling that there. When you have the gear that comes out the gearbox, that should not spin. Don't try to spin it. I've had people say they tried to get that spinning again, thinking that it was locked up. You shouldn't be able to turn that. So what we've got to do to get into this case here is to burr down or drill out a little bit these three posts here. Now this is fraught with danger and it's going to be easy to mess up, but we'll just do the best we can here. So once we get that done, we can try to pop off this back without cutting our finger off. And there we see the little gear that has dropped off. It is supposed to be here, but you can see there's a crack. So that is not likely to work. We are going to try to make it work. Now we could try to source some of these plastic gears, but first we're going to try some super glue and see if we can't get it back together. Now we've got to be very careful. It's again fraught with danger. If you get the glue up in the grooves there, or if they get on the other gears, you've ruined your whole gearbox. Once we get a little glue on there, we'll press it into place. Now you've got to be careful. If you press it in too far, the whirligig there will not spin, so that has to spin, of course. A little wiggle is normal. But you can see that split. That is a pretty large size split. So once we get it back together, we're going to see if it works. Now there's a larger hole for that post where the gear comes out. That lines up there. Now hopefully we can snap it in. I'll probably use some glue or something to get that in there better. I didn't do a good job of drilling that out. Alright, it's running, but it's making some noise. And it does flip the clock, but that's not going to work. So I've taken it apart again. We've got a really good set of gears here. So here's my idea. I got into my parts, and this is from a Panasonic, I believe. I have another one here, and I've gone ahead and removed that plastic case. And so these were from non-working clocks. But if you look here, you can see one of these gears had a split on it as well. So that's why this motor wasn't working. Now that one probably would lend itself to being fixed. You see it's fallen down off of that main gear that comes out of the gearbox, and I can press it up there, and you'd think that I could probably glue that and make this work again. But that's not exactly my plan. What I was thinking was that if I go ahead and skip trying to get a plastic gear and hopefully get this metal gear off here, maybe that would work even better in this Artin motor. So I've busted into the gear case. I'm going to use 2 flathead screwdrivers to get this gear off. Now, thankfully that didn't go very far. So we've got the gear, and it looks to be the same size as the plastic gear. Now the thing is, it's going to fit snug. It doesn't just push down on there. So I'm going to have to drive that down on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this nut here. Because if you press down on this, or if you manhandle this too much, you're going to bend that can and you're going to ruin the whole situation. So I'm going to try tapping. I'm going to try pressing. And it did take quite a bit of force to get that on there. Eventually I used this screwdriver to get that tapped down on there. And it's spinning really well. So all we've got to do now is see if this is going to work with our gear set here. And we just plug it in, again, snap it in. On this time around, I used super glue and baking soda in the holes I left there. And it's silent. It's running great. I test it out later, and it does keep really good time. And one of the visitors to the channel always wants to hear the alarm, so we better set that. All right, we've got a Kmart special here that actually works now. It's silent. Turned out pretty good. So this is one way you can fix your clock. Well, thanks for taking the time.